but they won't be able to click on the YouTube link.
Okay.
Yeah, because that's only through YouTube, so it doesn't end up being through them. So share screen. Yeah, I know. What was this comment? Allow. Okay. Cool. Everybody likes this all zoomed in.
Yeah. I'm splitting screen right now so I can look at the pack real quick, but then I'll maximize this. I can actually read it.
My little snippy comments. Did you read any of these? You probably didn't have time.
I did not. Oh, no, I didn't have time. So
all right.
I'm going to be surprised like everyone else.
All right. Okay, so we're sharing. We got everything to go. You said you found the stream. Are you the one viewer?
I did not find the stream. I did not join the stream.
Okay. We're getting started here. I think if they go to Teching the Realms, it should just be live.
Cool.
Like they should be able to find it, but they can't follow that first link. Yeah, so it's live. I will just reshare this link.
Okay. Yeah, I shared it.
Then,
can you send it to me? Oh, I'll just copy it.
I got you. It's already going. This is a good intro. Good intro stuff. For anybody watching back on YouTube, you can probably skip the first 3 minutes as we get this figured out. I like how I share in the heresy chat and get nothing. It's like blank stares. Okay. All right. Let me resettle this guy. He's not going to bed, so he's on stream with us. All right. I'm ready if you are. So if you want to get going on the pack, do you want to share your screen for the pack, or are you good? You're muted. I'm manually unmuting you. Oh, yeah, you muted.
Sorry. I'm trying to share it to a couple different spots, but I seem to have been logged out of Discord, so I can't do that right now. I got to remember that to not just share the YouTube chat. Hold on one sec. I'm going to share it one more spot, and then I'll be ready to go.
Okay. And then do you want to share screen while you go over the pack, or are you not worried about it?
I'm not worried about it. I'll just talk about it real quick. So I guess, hello, everyone.
Oops.
This is our Vault Wars list review stream. We're going to try to actually get through all of the lists this time, so we're going to be a little more brief than we were on the Flying Monkey list review. But real quick, Vault Wars is a tournament in Springfield, Missouri this coming weekend at Metagames Unlimited, and it is organized by Travis Boyson of I believe the Queen City Sigmar group. This will be my second year attending. It's a great event, so I would recommend anyone interested in an event this time of year and near Springfield to definitely hit it up. Great terrain, great event, great time. Just a couple more items regarding the event. They are doing 3-hour rounds, and there are 7 potential scenarios that will be played. Border War, Battle for the Pass, Scorched Earth, Better Part of Valor, Limited Resources, Focal Points, and the Vice. So we are not aware of that until the day of the event itself. So just wanted to cover those quick items, and yeah, Shawn's sharing his screen here.
Yep. So I've got
Ready
I
to
got
talk
through
through some
almost all
lists.
the lists today.
I did not look at any of the lists, so this will be new to me.
Ooh, this will be fresh. So then you can read them out and get your live feelings, if you would like.
Yep, that's fine. So we're just going to go through the list. Thanks to Travis Boyson, the organizer, for compiling all these lists in one document. So start with Alex Cotter. A boinking we will go. Gloomspite gets Trogherd list 2 drops with a Kron Spine Incarnate. Scragrot, 2 units of reinforced Rock Guts. Trug to buff the Rock Guts. Dankold Trog Boss. Dankold Trogoth. And another unit of 3 Rock Gut Trogoths. And of course the Loon Shrine. So I guess one more note before we get into this. There is some of these lists, not this one, but some of these lists may seem a bit odd. And that's because there is a Highlander Highlander award at this tournament. And the requirements to play Highlander, you have to have 9 distinct war scrolls with no repeats in your list. And that cannot include manifestations or anything like that. So not specifically Alex's list here, but some of the lists will seem maybe different than what you're normally expecting because players are attempting to get that Highlander award.
Yeah, what are your initial thoughts looking at this?
Strong Trog list. I mean, it's obviously maybe toned down a little bit from where they were a month ago after the battle scroll, but still a strong list.
Yeah, and then in the chat, thanks for stopping by, Shawn Sayer. I know you can't stay forever, but appreciate you stopping by for a bit.
Shawn, you'll be there. You'll be there this week, right? This weekend, right? Shawn Sayer, that is.
Yeah, not this Shawn.
Yes.
Yeah, my initial thoughts were just looking at this. I'm like, they still get 15 Trogs in there. So what, that seemed to like one of the problems is one of the lists that people were afraid of was 15 Trogs, and a Flying Monkey, there was a few 18 Trog lists. So
yeah, I was just going to say it could be 18 Trogs. So
yeah. And they could have done it, right?
Yep.
Yeah, easily got rid of Dankold, Trogoth, and just done it. So I'm interested. Something real brief and quick. We've kind of guessed that maybe some of the changes, and other creators have said similar things, that some of the changes to shooting and priority target might affect shooting lists, such as being able to all-out defense, to covering fire. The priority target changes are relatively big. Some of those things might affect shooting, and probably start pushing people towards the bodyguard choice when it comes to the your honor guard selection. And I think that Trogs are a list that can get really hurt by efficient bodyguard play. So
that is true.
Curious to see how well this does.
On Trogs is big, and if you run into something that can reduce you even further, Karzai, the Scarred comes to mind. There's other things out there that can reduce your attacks as well.
Yeah. Just Gits have one. The Sports Lab Fanatics.
Yep.
There's a few other things that can do it. So yeah, going down by 2 can really hurt. Does Ionis still do it?
I don't recall.
Okay. Well, there's thoughts on that. I'm curious how well it's going to go.
Yeah, I think it doesn't have a lot of bodies to go get battle tactics either. So he's going to have to use his Trogs to go get some battle tactics too.
Luckily, I think one of the battle tactics, like the Let's Get Stuck In, is like kind of built for Trog style lists. Like, most things aren't picking up 6 Trogs in a round.
Yep. So this next one tactic is complete trash.
Yeah.
Yep, Slaanesh. I will admit I have not played against Slaanesh, nor have I really ever played as Slaanesh, so I'm not an expert on this one. But we've got Shalaxi, who I know is good against characters. Blissbarb Archers reinforced, Blissbarb Archers not reinforced, Blissbarb Seekers. So lots of shooting. Slickblade Seekers reinforced, and then Sigvald and some Painbringers.
And then they're reinforced. It's just cut off. I'm not gonna scroll down for just the word reinforced.
Yep. So lots of shooting. I mean, this is high volume shooting is good.
Yeah. Initial thoughts for you? Anything?
I'll be just interested to. I'd be interested to play against it. Like I said, I haven't seen it so far this edition, and really, I didn't play against it much last edition either. We don't have really a Slanesh player in our local meta, so something I'd be interested to play against, but I don't have a whole lot of. Without the experience, I don't have too many comments on it.
Yeah, I just wrote that it's a lot of shots. It's like 75 shots. That's a lot of dice regardless.
Yep.
That can be pretty decent. I think a lot of them are rend 1 damage 1. And Shalaxi is really strong even when they aren't going into heroes. I think they're already really good. They have that command
to make something fight twice.
No, they have the I think they have that too, but I think that's only on demons. But they have the rampage. That's a counter charge as well. But so they just get a free rampage counter charge. That's super strong because you probably didn't want to fight Shalaxi.
They have to end that charge into a hero, though. Is that right?
I think so. Yeah. But there's a lot of big heroes which we'll run into in these lists too. There's a lot of people running a lot of big heroes, and then Sigvalt's just really good. So they took two solid, very mobile hammers, and then are running a lot of shooting.
Just not a lot of high armor saves, that sort of thing in the list. So glass cannon.
Yep. With the changes to the Hedonites battle trait, I'm really interested to see how this list does too, because it seems a lot better.
I am as well.
So here's Austin Stonebreaker. We're familiar with this guy. You've played him a few times, right?
I've played him once for sure.
I know Dan in the chat has played him as well.
Yep. When I played him, he played as Sylvaneth. He knows the army for sure, and I would expect him to know what he's doing and hang in games. 3 drops looks like it is a Highlander list. Is that right?
Yes.
Yep. So Warsong Revenant, that's good. Belthanos also good. Gives run and charge. Unit of 10. Unit of Dryads, Spite Rider Lancers, Tree Revs, Arch Revenant, Kurnoth Hunters with great bows, reinforced Kurnoths with great swords, and Kurnoth Hunters with scythes. So, Kurnoths are good. Maybe Kurnoth great bow shooting went down a little bit. Maybe that's why he, with the changes to priority target, maybe that's why he only went with 3 instead of 6. But it's got all the pieces of, even though it's a Highlander list, it still has all the good things with Sylvaneth, and they definitely got a glow up in the battle scroll.
So my quick things is this, we're staying on that Midwest beef boy meta right here. We've talked about it before. People in the Midwest, they love their really multi-wound, decent armor save models. And we're sticking to that. I think Outcast is a good choice as well because he doesn't bring a ton of bodies, so being able to subtract control scores and stay in the game is solid. I do think this. I don't know if it's a mistake or if it's list construction. I haven't tried to write any Sylvaneth lists, but he doesn't actually have anything in his general's regiment, so he's just not making any use of the season traits at all.
Yeah. Maybe he was trying to avoid giving up the battle tactic. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I don't know. I still think you put one thing in there, and I think Kurnoth are relatively decent for bodyguard targets. They're
I would agree, especially with a Warsong Rev. You probably could have put those Great Bow Kurnoths in there, and they were going to hang out around him anyway.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, overall solid.
Yeah, I would agree. Dan says
Deepwood is good.
Dan in the chat says always a great game. I would agree with that. When I played him in the past, great game.
All right.
Billy, local guy, he is playing a Highlander list. So you'll notice if you listen to our last list review chat, his list has changed. It had 2 units of reinforced Trogs before. Now it only has 1. So he's got Trug Gabapalooza, which is just of note, Shawn's favorite unit in all of Age of Sigmar 4.0.
The favorite, maybe not accurate, but I might think it's the best.
Yeah.
Maybe it is my favorite. I don't know. They're wild.
Yep. Well, maybe we can get into that in a different video, but they are really good. Non-unique 15 wound wizard with control score 10 that can give a buff as well outside of being moving.
Yeah, that has a separate ability. Yeah, they're crazy.
Yep, very
that
good.
can also recur.
Yep. Yep. So
and then the rest. Sorry, this one is cut off.
Yep, Dankhold, Trogoth, Reinforced Rock Guts, and he went with some kind of off-meta choices in here, I would say for sure. With some hoppers and a squig herd. I mean, he was just trying to get to the 9 units, I would say. But Gloomspite still have a lot of play, I would say, even when you kind of try to build a Highlander list. What do you think?
Yeah. So I think this like Git soup is pretty okay and pretty fun. The only thing that I don't like with Gits playing this way, I think, is that they're you really miss out on their formations because their formations are highly specialized into one of the groups. So I mean, obviously he's trying to make his trogs a little bit more survivable running trog herd, but
I think the Arachnarok is interesting, like being able to deep strike in and just goof around.
I think the weakness is his general's regiment. He has that's one other thing we missed about the Gabapalooza. On turn 1, it's like got a 4 up ward, and on turn 2, it's got a 5 up ward. Like this thing, it's insane. And then it has a 6 up ward for the rest of the game.
Yeah.
But the Ragnarok and the Spider Riders are really easy to kill. So I think that's a serious risk. And I don't know what honor guard you're picking really with this. It's just like kind of my problem. I wish there'd just be a slight rearrangement. I think there's just something better we could have got in there to really play off the season rules. But other than that, I think the list is pretty solid, especially going for Highlander Gits.
Yep, and Billy knows what he's doing with Gits. He's been playing them since the start of 4.0. He finished 11th. They finished 11th at Flying Monkey 3-2.
Yeah,
top of the 3-2 bracket, I believe. So
yeah, I did well. You did well. But, go into next one then.
Yep. So Bob Martin, Leapfrog Legion here, Corn. So he's got a Slaughter Priest, and is that it in his General's Regiment, the Slaughter Priest?
Yes.
Bloodthirster of Unfettered Fury with Argath, King of Blades. That ignores ward saves. Is that right? No.
Yeah, just for who he's targeting, and it might even be limited to a hero. I'm actually not super high on it anymore.
Okay.
I'll check while you go.
Okay. Insensate Rage Bloodthirster, so that's the one that does the big damage in the AoE mortals. Realmgore Ritualist. I would say very good if you have any mortals in your list, and a cheap priest for that matter. Blood Warriors.
Yeah, Argath does have to target a hero, by the way, so that's
okay.
Not my favorite.
And Skull Reapers, is that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7? So it's not a Highlander list, is it? I don't see.
Yes, it is.
Does it have 9 units?
Oh, he needs 9 units for the Highlander. I didn't realize that part. No, because I only have 1, 2. Faction Train doesn't count, right?
Nope. Oh, he's got a regiment of Renown, so he actually does catch it.
Oh, yeah,
we missed the regiment of Renown at the bottom. Yep. So yes, it is, and that's
in my notes.
A super good regiment of Renown.
Especially for Corn.
Yep. Yeah, gets him a wizard. Is that the only way to get a? Is that the only way to get a wizard in Corn at this point?
Yes, because the 2 Skaven regiments don't have wizards. I think it's the non-wizard engineer class guy. So, my quick notes were, Double Thirster Cornate Legion is pretty cool. I think that's a solid base, but I think that so Cornate Legion, his formation is the chain fight one. So you fight with a demon unit, then you can fight with a mortal unit. I think that one is really solid because you can chain some pretty powerful stuff like 2 Thirsters. Yep. But I think the problem is his mortal unit payoff isn't very solid here. Like 10 Blood Warriors isn't super good, and
because neither of those are reinforced.
Yeah, that's really my problem. Is I wish that he would have reinforced one and just kind of like accepted that that's the one he wanted. But
he couldn't have done that and maintained the Highlander though with his.
Yeah, I think so because the Regiment of Renown is 4 units or 3 units.
Yeah. Right. Oh, you're saying yeah. You're right. He could just dropped one of them. That makes sense.
And
yep.
And I probably would have did the Skull Reapers because they're better. Then the other thing
I do think Blood Warriors are good though.
I do too. Yeah. I think if you're just being forced into a choice and you're doing Coordinate Legion, just take 10 Skull Reapers. The other thing that I like is this Regiment of Renown brings that Wizard. I think instead of the Judgments of Khorne, which I don't think are super, super great, I probably would have taken a Manifestation Lore, right? And possibly Aether Rot Sorceries, because the Scythe is really good at messing with movement, and you're already playing the movement game. So I think that could have been really, really strong.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Other than that,
I would say the banner Manifestation of Khorne does worry people when it comes to. In my experience, it doesn't go off that often, but people have to think about it.
The icon, that one's solid. Okay, moving right along. All right.
Brent looks like he's doing Bone Reapers. Bone Reapers is the second most represented faction in this tournament, behind Stormcast. So, just real quick: Archcavallos Xantos, Death Riders, Reinforced Harbingers, 2 Crawlers, which are very good and went down in points, a Soul Mason, a Reinforced Mortek Guard, and non-Reinforced Mortek Guard. So I played against a list with 2 Mortek Crawlers and a Reinforced unit of Mortek Guard, which the list had actually 1 Flying Monkey. I covered it a little more in a previous video, the Flying Monkey review or post-tournament review. But 2 Crawlers is good. And I think they were one of the. I don't think they were affected a ton by the change to priority target, because they wound on 2s anyway. It does affect them. I'm not saying it doesn't, but the fact that they also went down points.
The Mortek Ballistari thing is making it so they're already getting the +1
for sure.
So they care a lot less.
Yep, and every failed save on that is a big deal. Extra rend against infantry.
Yeah, I think this is maybe my favorite OBR list after looking at all of the ones that I did. The Double Crawlers is really scary. It's a big threat. It's a big threat into the bodyguard meta. Then they also brought a reinforced unit of Harbingers. Mortek Guard are really tough to deal with in general. It doesn't look like they have a way to do it. Maybe if they moved Archcavallos Xantos around, I think maybe decreased him to the normal guy, the unnamed one. But my one gripe is I would have liked to see them get a Tyrannic cohort in here.
Yeah,
because they don't have that, and they're 10 points shy of just switching out the standard Mortek Guard.
Yep.
But other than that, this one does seem like it's bringing everything that you want.
Yeah, I think so too. I mean, had I had time to get some Mortek Crawlers painted up, I probably would have considered changing my list because I got torn to shreds in the final round of Flying Monkey. So I expect this list to do well.
Wonder if Highlander being a thing is one of the reasons that double crawler is slightly less popular than we maybe would have expected.
Yeah, maybe, but I also think that makes it better in some regards because you're fighting against all these MSU units and just maybe picking them up, right? All right, so what do we got? Byron looks like Soul Blight Gravelords with Neferata, Manfred, and Arcan. The triple Mortek list.
And then it comes with one of each Morghast unit because it's that Regiment of Renown.
Yep. So, and then Blood Knights, and that's it. 5 Blood Knights. Yeah. Every piece in this army can do work. It's just a matter of can he keep the Mortarks out of trouble. I mean, every Mortar gets picked up, is a problem, obviously.
Yeah, my problem with this list is I think this would be a really solid Kronspine list because you get Back in All Blood gives you a bonus to cast, so you can pretty not reliably, but you can more comfortably summon it, and they could really use the bodies. And then the other thing is their General's Regiment doesn't have anything again. I mean, the Blood Knights should presumably just be in there to at least go for Honor Guard or something.
I would agree with that.
And maybe that was just a mistake or an oversight, or maybe they're just trying to mitigate the one battle tactic. But I think Blood Knights are really good. General's Regiment
battle tactic, and you're mitigating the I
priority
guess
target, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, not much to say. He's taking the extra. He's going to try and cast.
Yep.
All right, you
All
going to
right.
say the title of this one?
I am not gonna say it. Carson's list. Looks like he's Highlander. Huh?
It is Highlander. Yeah.
Yep. So he's got a Slan, Lancers reinforced, Agrodon Lancers reinforced, Hunters of Hawanchi with Dart Pipes, Hunters of Hawanchi with Starstone Bolas. Hunters of Hawanchi with 2 different units able to capitalize on the Highlander format.
Only one of them has the feeble claws.
That is true. Best melee attack in the game. Croxagore Warp Spawn reinforced, Skink Starseer, Bastillodon with Arc of Sotek, Raptidon Chargers, Ripidactyl Riders. A lot of units slamming the board. Some decent casting, right?
Yeah. Slan is still a great caster. Slan also helps recur these guys because they're sort of like space demons. And so I think the reinforced Agrodons and a reinforced unit of Croxagore is a really good fit here.
Is that they bring back units at half strength?
Yeah.
What's the mechanism to bring back a unit?
I'm sorry.
What's the mechanism to bring back a unit? Is it a command or?
No, it's a 4+.
Okay.
So it's the free one, but you got to roll for it.
Okay.
And I do like Shadow Strike Star Host in this one, even though he doesn't have a ton of skinks. He's got all the Hunters of Hawanchi, which are great, and then he's got the Ripidactyriles, which are already fast, Raptidon Chargers, which are already good. Like, I think this is a pretty solid.
What lets him? Is that pregame? Is that an extra move in the shooting phase? Was it?
Yeah, it's a shooting phase move for skinks, skink cav and infantry, not monsters. So the Bastillodon cannot.
Yep, good. I mean,
it's good it's especially good for Highlander.
Yeah, I think it's a good Highlander list for sure, and I think it's not a bad normal list.
Yeah. Okay. Carter Babs.
Yep, Carter playing Lumineth. Looks like he's got. This is the one with Severeth, 2 Spirits of the Wind, reinforced Wind Chargers, and then he's got the Twins, a unit of reinforced Sentinels, and a unit of Riverblade. So all the, pretty much all the who's who amongst Lumineth Realm Lords.
Yeah, that's what I agree with. I think this is the future of Lumineth Realm Lords. A little less Wind Chargers, more Foxes. 3 Foxes is brutal, and how do we stop that until we figure that out? Expect to deal with it and see it on top tables.
Can they still do can all those things still move in the shooting phase?
Yes.
Yeah.
Up to 3. It's up to 3. So
yeah,
it's crazy. And then 20 Sentinels, really good. Yep, just seems good.
That's good. I've yet to play Lumineth this edition. Once again, similar to Slaanesh, we don't have like a person that attends events in our local area that regularly plays Lumineth, so not something I
got to play my buddy, and he typically plays some kind of more off meta stuff, or he usually plays Venari heavy, and so I played into Dawn Riders and the 20 Sentinels, and the 20 Sentinels still did a lot of work. He does have Severeth, and like he's seriously just like unkillable unless they want him to die. It's kind of ridiculous because he also can't be shot outside of 9 inches.
Yeah.
So like you don't actually have a way to get to him. It's ridiculous.
Yep.
But I think that list will do well.
Another Bone Reaper list. Double crawler, double catapult here. This is one with Arcan. This is, I think, pretty much and this is Charles Built. Is that right? I think I might have played Carter last year at Vault Wars. I can't remember for sure.
Apparently, according to Nicholas Wilson, he has beautiful hair. So does that jog your memory?
He might. Did he play Soul Blight last year at Vault Wars?
No. Let us know, chat.
I can go back and look at my notes at some point, but so let's see, where are we? Catapults once again. Charles Belt.
Mm-hmm.
This is pretty close to the list that won Flying Monkey Arcane,
Okay.
Immortus Guard, Death Riders, Mortec Crawler, Soul Mason, Harbingers, Mortec Guard, Tyrannic Cohort. This is not the exact list. I can't remember what the difference would be, because I don't think the list that won. I don't think the list that won Flying Monkey had a Mortis Guard in it,
Okay.
but I can't
I
remember.
don't think so either.
Oh, it was a
But yeah.
reinforced. He had a reinforced unit of Mortec Guard,
That's right.
so
Yeah. Yeah.
couldn't have fit the Immortus Guard in, I don't think, prior to the points changes.
But I think this is pretty good. Another double catapult list seems good. Arcane, so good casting. I like the Tyrannic cohort being back in the list. Yeah, I'll be interested to see.
This is a good list.
Yeah.
I did like the reinforced Mortec Guard, because they are no joke to pick up when you charge them, because they ignore, or they're just ethereal on the charge, or when you charge them.
So. Yeah, the Lowered Morghast Harbingers unit is I wonder, because this is all more MSU stuff, right? So I do wonder about the longevity of some of this stuff compared to the other one. I think in a head-to-head, this one has a little bit of trouble.
Yeah, I mean, those Harbingers are definitely more of a distraction or a roadblock than they are a big threat.
Yeah.
Next up,
Okay.
OBR list: Charles Fox, TO Flying Monkey.
Yeah.
Running OBR with Arcan, Leech Cavalos, Tyrannic Cohort. Love to see it.
And then Second Regiment.
Yep, Soul Mason, 2 units of Archai, and a reinforced unit of Harbingers. So this is not dissimilar to my list.
And it was a change you were considering too, right? We kind of talked it over for a while.
I talked through splitting up my units of either one of my 2 units of Morghast. In the end, I decided not to, which we'll get to later. But I think the extra mobility you get, and just kind of board presence you get, isn't a bad thing. And he decided to go with the more survivable ones as opposed to the 3d6 charge ones. So OBR is good. We know that. Charles, I expect Charles to be able to pilot this thing and do just fine.
I'm curious how this goes into the bodyguard meta, if that's what we end up seeing, especially with no real ranged abilities.
Yep. Yeah, I think you got to really try to engage that bodyguard with your Harbingers if you can. If they're far enough away from the whatever they're bodyguarding, to try to pick them up with the get to them with the 3d6 charge.
Right, like they should always be in the combat range. But yeah,
they should. I agree. I mean, but if you can, there's something to be said about scaring somebody into keeping their bodyguard in combat range of their big bad, and then just ignoring it if you can, right? Playing around it, killing the rest of the army. Depends on scenario. It's largely scenario dependent too, though. If you're playing shifting objectives, that's easier said than done. With only three objectives on the table.
All right, next we got Cody Bailey's.
Yep. Zinch list: Kairos, Spawn, Flamers, Screamers reinforced, Skyfires reinforced, Shaman, Jade Obelisk, and reinforced Zangors. And then Curseling. Shawn, can you still hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. I see Nick, my brother, commenting in the chat that OBR is too mainstream these days for me, and I'll probably switch to some low tier faction. Maybe. Shawn, you're still a bit chappy there. Well, we lost Shawn, and he was sharing his screen, so I'll give it a second and see if we get him back here. Uh, Nicholas Wilson, did you say that Carter runs OBR exclusively? Because he was running Lumen at Fault Wars. Free queso in Oklahoma City. I'll have to see that sometime. Charles Belt, yeah. I was talking about Carter. I think I might have played Carter last year at Vault Wars. If he is who I'm thinking of, and played Soul Blight.
Sorry about that.
No problem.
Our apartment.
I've just been chit chatting with the comments here.
Yeah. The internet at our apartment complex has been having some problems since they did an update, and it hasn't been my favorite. So I will.
We were talking Zinch though.
Yes.
Yeah. Nicholas, I think I did play him last year. Long hair, beanie. That playing Soul Blight, that would be him. He beat me.
All right, you want to jump into this Zinch list?
Yep, I don't know if you heard me before, but I kind of talked through it a little bit. But Kairos,
Okay, cool.
Chaos Spawn, Flamers, Screamers, Reinforced. This appears to be a Highlander list. Is that right, Kairos?
Yeah.
So,
and I kind of made my comments without realizing that. Just kind of knocking some of the. I just think he could have more Zangors, but going for Highlander, I guess you're probably not running Zangor Enlightened. So
yeah, I mean, Reinforced Skyfires still can threaten the entire board. Basically, not having multiple units of them means you can not worry about it as much. But once again, this is with the Highlander format. That's what he's going for here. So Zinch is still good though. You know, they've got the Fade dice. They're going to cast spells. They're going to do their thing. Just not maxed quite as much as you would expect.
Next is Colton list.
Yep. So he's got Neferata, Blood Knights, Vampire Lord on Zombie Dragon, Blood Knights, Reinforced Zombies, Reinforced Graveguard. What do you have to say about this, Shawn?
It's really interesting. He's got two big heavy hitters, Neferata and the Vampire Lord and Zombie Dragon. They can put out a lot of damage. And then he's got two Blood Knight units. These are, definitely some anvils, and they're mobile and they can do damage in their own right. And then couple that with two little horde units that can be recurred in the Graveguard that can also be an additional hammer. They're also somewhat defensive now. So it's interesting. It's super elite. I wonder how taxed Neferata and the Vampire Lord are going to be on those mobility requiring objectives and battle tactics, as well as being your primary damage dealers. But if that can be managed, it'll be really good. Being able to summon the Crown Spine as an additional way to kind of help with that damage is also solid.
Yeah, I think that's a good pick in this list. Like you mentioned in the previous Neferata list, Crown Spine is this is a good use case for Crown Spine. And Colton knows how to play Soul Blight.
Yeah, he's a good Soul Blight player. We're gonna try to crank
Corey.
it through. We're over halfway, but not over halfway on these lists.
Yeah, we are. So we'll go fast. We'll try to speed this up. So this is Corey, a local player to our scene, playing a Highlander Seraphon list. Croak, Stilodama Solar Engine, Reinforced Source Guard, Reinforced Source Warriors, King Star Priest, Starseer, Crocscore Warp Spawn, Ripperdactyl Riders, Pterodon Riders. I'm not gonna say it's similar to the Highlander, the previous Seraphon Highlander list, but because it's not really, is it?
No, I think one, Croak doesn't have recursion, so he doesn't have the same recursion as the Slan. But I still think I don't think the Bastillodon with the Solar Engine is necessarily where you want to be or need to be. So I think could have been a nice healthy cut to reinforce the Crocscore Workspawn, and then possibly do something to get Hunters of Quan-Chi with Bolus in there.
Yeah, I mean,
would be
if he cut the solar engine to reinforce the warp spawn, he would have had to make other changes to get another unit in, right? To
yeah,
do
you could probably cut Star Priest, I would say, or unreinforced
you'd have to
like
unreinforce one of those units to be able to fit another unit in, right? Because cutting the Star Priest, you just add, you'd be subtracting and then adding another, one unit, so you wouldn't get back to your 9. Assuming you also cut out the solar engine.
Oh yeah, I forgot about Highlander. You guys are thinking on this other level.
Yep.
That's why you're here.
Corey knows Seraphon though, but he doesn't have a ton of reps. I'll say. I guess I shouldn't say that to everyone. He doesn't have a ton of reps this edition, but he knows how to play Seraphon. And
he does. Yeah, he's always been good. He handed me my first L of ever playing, which was my first time ever playing, and it was brutal.
And he's a heck of a painter, and a heck of a guy.
Daniel Pitt, I played him twice. He's a good player.
Yep. So we're talking Khorne, Slaughter Priest, Skull Reapers, Insensate Rage, Flesh Hounds, Skull Taker, Scar Bloodwrath, Blood Warriors. You know I'm a Scar Bloodwrath stan. With his popping right? Back alive all over the place, right? That's him, right?
I think so.
Yeah.
I like this one better than the other one because this is again a Coordinate Legion one. Even though we're not running the double Bloodthirster, I think having a few other really good options like Skull Taker is fairly solid, and Flesh Hounds to trigger this chain. And then we also have that reinforced unit of Skull Reapers that I was hoping to see last time, and still maintaining 2 Blood Warriors. Kind of losing
maybe
the
reinforce
chaff.
that unit of Blood Warriors would been something he could do, but
yeah, I think I would prefer that. But so I kind of see what he's doing with it, not reinforcing the unit of Blood Warriors in this instance, and it's because he doesn't have a lot of chaff to burn through and get those blood tithe points, so he does actually need them to die eventually.
Yeah.
But I think I like this one.
And I think Khorne is slept on right now.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, Night Haunt. I'll let you talk about this one. You're a big Night Haunt guy.
So this one's fun, actually. So 3 drops, Morbid Conjuration, Vanishing Phantasms, even though it was heavily nerfed, and it was a heavy nerf. The other 3 are honestly just so bad that you wouldn't look at them. And then we've got Reikenor, Reinforcing Unit of Crossbows, Reinforcing Unit of Dreadblade Harrows, Cairn Wraith in my 2nd Regiment, Dread Scythe Herodins, Reinforcing Unit of Grimghast Reapers, 10-man Grimghast Reapers, and then Cairn Wraith and 3 10-man Grimghast Reapers.
I just feel like with Night Haunt, you just keep reading stuff and reading stuff and reading stuff. Like there's so much in the list.
Yeah, and I think Grimghast Reapers are good. I don't know if they're that good, but I guess we'll see. The Craven Throne Guard is solid. We've still got good teleporting with the Dreadblade Arrows. I think reinforcing them is interesting, considering now that the dynamic has kind of changed with them, with the way that they're able to be wounded.
Yeah, you can't yeet them out on.
Yeah, but this is just so many. It's so many things. I think it could be hard to deal with. It's a lot of units, and then the Cairn Wraiths, if they're in combat, they can give Grimghast Reapers an extra attack, so you can really get them in a dangerous range. Yeah, or sorry, not an extra attack; it's an extra rend, I think.
And then you're just, hoping Night Haunt fails their 4-up saves.
Yeah. I am fact checking myself on what the Cairn Wraith does while you go into this Sons of Behemat list.
All right, Sons of Behemat list. We have King Broad as usual, Gatebreaker, and 3 Man Crushers. That's I think that's the pretty standard list at this point. I didn't see the name on who was running it.
It is an extra attack. I should have trusted my gut.
It is done. So I played against him to a draw. This exact list at Flying Monkey. So I think this is pretty close to the go-to Gargant list at this point. I know one of the hard parts about playing Gargants is there's just not a whole lot of variety that you can do in the list, but that also means you can get good reps with your list in, and So they still force you to pass the DPS check, and you really have to have good target priority. So
Yeah.
yeah,
I think the weakness, just in general, with Gargants is they need to run Man Crusher Gargants.
yeah,
And
they have to, and they're not. Those guys just
they're
are
not
easy
good.
to pick up.
Yep. And then once they're down to just 3 megas, it's actually like the game. If you still have stuff, it's just like a lot easier to play.
Yeah, just hope you don't play them on shifting objectives.
Beast of
Beast of
Chaos.
Chaos, Eli. I really don't know anything about Beast of Chaos. I have barely looked at the.
I really don't either. This is like such a gap, and I think a lot of people are in the same boat too.
Yep,
Because
and
unless you play it, unless you have somebody that plays it, or you're anticipating it, a lot of people are like, "Oh, well, this is leaving in now what
yeah,
9 months." So
and I think that's an
people aren't looking
advantage
at it.
for Eli
No,
here. So I don't really have a ton to say. Beast Lord, Bestigors, Dragon Ogres reinforced, Ungors, Great Bray Shaman, Senegors reinforced. So that
I
whole
thought
list.
Dragon Ogres seemed okay, seemed pretty good, and I mean they could get strike first, and Senegors seemed all right. They got a lot of attacks, and they're basically little cavalry, but
Yeah,
I don't know. I don't really
I'll
know
tell
what
you
I'm looking at.
I'll tell you I'll be on the way to Springfield. Oh, there's some more Ungors.
Yeah.
On the way to Springfield, I'll be looking at the the, the faction pack. All right,
Here's
James Matthews.
James's list. Yeah,
Yep,
I played against him.
yep.
He's got a big converted ancient Nagash that uses the old like little model.
Yeah, I have not played against James, but I think I've sat on the table next to you while you were playing him before.
Yeah, he's a good dude, fun guy. He aims to finish his games, and I don't think he's gonna have a problem with this.
Yep. Is he calling to the 2,500 point army because Nagash brings back one of those units? Is what he's getting at there.
Yep.
So he's got Nagash, 2 units of Morghast, reinforced, both Harbingers, both 3d6 charges. So yeah,
That's what
yeah,
he's doing.
he's gonna be blasting spells out there. I mean, it did take a bit of a nerf because you get the bonus to banish spells the more that are out there, but this is still good. I mean, it's gonna be rough on high objective count scenarios, though. I'll
Yeah.
say.
Yeah.
I played a very similar list to this, except I had
Yeah.
a few units in my list, and
It,
it can
and I
be
think you
rough.
considered that version for a second, and you were just like, "Nah, that's
I did.
not enough."
Yep. So Jason Tompkins, another Lumineth Realm Lords list: Severith, Wind Spirit, Scenari Enlightener, Unit of Wardens, the Twins, Reinforced Sentinels, and Dawn Riders. So you got the
Yeah,
Wind
that's it.
Spirits there,
I mean, yeah,
and Severith.
this is just a variation on the good list, and I
Yep.
think you start with these 3 spirits, these 3 foxes, probably 20 sentinels, and then you figure out what else you want to put in there. Put the twins in.
Jose just told me shifting objectives. He reminded me, even though I went through the battle plans at the beginning, but it's not one this weekend, so I need to stop saying that.
I think you mean in general, but yeah,
Yeah.
it's not relevant this time.
Yeah, we'll just say scenarios with fewer objectives or more objectives.
But yeah, not much to say. We already covered the Lumineth list earlier, and this is like they're variations of this right now. So
Yep,
it's good.
doesn't have
It's
doesn't have the
fast.
same ranged output in this one, but
Yeah. I mean, it's only dropping the wind chargers.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
And then it's got the Dawn Riders instead, which I think are fairly solid. I think that's a solid switch.
Yep.
Right. Nurgle.
Yep.
Do you want to take the lead on this one?
Clean one. Blight Lords. Against the Blight Kings. I have not played Nurgle this edition, so. Orgoth's Demon Spew, Lord of Blights, Blight Kings. I really don't have a whole lot to say because I have not. I have a Nurgle army like you're implying, but I have not played them this edition. Really, since like mid last edition. Just lots of bodies that you're gonna have to pick up. I think Blight Kings did they lose a wound from this edition to last edition?
They may have. I don't know.
I think it's just
so
one
what?
loss.
what I kind of put in here, my little notes, is related to the fact that you're not playing them really, and I just don't think they do enough damage right now, and they don't
Yeah.
move very fast. So then they're kind of just struggling to play objective game in general. And I think if the bodyguard meta is here at Vault Wars, then I think they're in even more trouble. Blight Kings only get one attack profile, and I think they have several attacks. I think they have 3 or 4, but they're not super good. So like losing a few just isn't really what you want to be doing. And then this
Yeah.
list isn't even running rot bringers, so like, or is that what those things are? No, the blowpipe guys.
Yeah.
So he's only getting those mortal wounds once it gets into combat, and Blight Kings move what, like 4 inches.
Yeah.
So I just don't.
Still a
I
lot
think
of
there's
wounds to chew through. Decent
yeah
saves and wards, but yeah, you're right. I guess I've not played with them or against them this edition, so I'd just be interested to see how it went.
yeah. I think we've talked about it a few times, and you just didn't feel like you could hurt anything.
Yep. I think we have one local guy that's playing them, and I think that's his experience so far as well. But he is definitely trying to make them work. So we've got Jeff with Slaves to Darkness. Slaves to Darkness is the big surprise, I think, of this event, that there's not nearly as many of them as I was expecting. So he's got Bellicor, 6 Raptorix, 6 Varangard reinforced, Chaos Sorcerer on Manticore, 5 Nurgle Knights, 5 Nurgle Knights. So that second regiment's going to be hard to kill. They're not reinforced though, so there's some hope for people playing against it, trying to kill those units. Bellicor is always, annoying to play against, I'll say.
Yeah,
If I played Slave to Darkness, I would definitely be using him in my army.
absolutely.
And then
6 Vanguard.
Yep. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, this
so,
list just seems like it's beefy. Still beefy, still good. I like the Twilight Sorceries edition actually. Just to like add more control aspect, turning off commands and just seeing how much they can do with that.
Yeah.
I feel like there's a high skill that's going to be required in this one because the low body count, some of the light points hits, and just some of the big pieces.
Yep, I would agree. I don't think this is the most tuned Slaves to Darkness list, but I still think it's Slaves to Darkness, so therefore it's pretty good.
Another one of your bone brethren.
Yep. So is this Jared? It looks like.
Yes.
So he's got Catacross. My dog is barking in the background, so I apologize. I don't know what she sees in the backyard. Catacross, Death Riders, non-reinforced Morghast Archai, the Master of the Bone Tithe himself, and a Crawler, and then a Soul Mason, and a unit of non-reinforced Harbinger. So this is kind of a grab bag of is this a, am I counting this up right? Is this a Highlander
1,
list?
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1 short.
It's only
2
7,
short.
so 2 short.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a grab bag. It's hard to do a Highlander with Catacross, I think, with a 500 point model in your list. Grab bag of units, not focusing on one, specific piece of the army, whether it's the crawlers or the Morghast type of thing. So it will be. I'm curious to see how this will perform. Kind of not focusing heavily on one of the facets of the army.
Yeah, I'm kind of with you. I think it's interesting. He's maybe doing the 2+ save thing with the Morghast Archive, but he didn't go all in on it either. So
yeah, I would agree. I think when I've considered Catacross, it is a lot of points though to try to get Catacross and then a reinforced Archive unit.
Yeah. Okay, Stormcast list.
Yep. So we're just now hitting our first Stormcast list, which is interesting. So we have Ionis, reinforced Raptors, Grondis, Griffons, Praetors, Indrasta, and that's it. I think Stormcast. This is obviously this is pre-release of the book.
Yeah, pre Battle Tome. Yeah.
For those listening after the fact, but I still think Stormcast is in a pretty good spot right now. This list is light on bodies, but it has 2 kind of big dragons in it. I mean, it doesn't have Karzai, the biggest melee dragon, but Ionis and Kronus can still do work. And then Yndrasta is a menace against monsters. And you know, the Raptors reinforced also do work. So um, you can't hide from them either, really, because they can deep strike in on you.
Yeah. That's the one weird thing I thought about this list was the General's Regiment, how it is just the Raptors. So it makes me think that they're still trying to go priority target. Rather than maybe doing it with Krondus and trying to do the -1 attacks thing.
Yeah. Kronus does, they'll give out -1 attack, I believe, to one unit, just like Karzai does. But
yeah, Ionis does not. I did look it up.
Yeah.
All right. Here is another one.
Yep.
Joe.
Joe. So Krondus again, Praetors to keep Krondus alive. Reclusians reinforced. I'm curious to see how those perform. I played against them once, Travis actually, and I got to them before they could do anything. But they do, mortals, crit mortals. So
Yeah.
reinforced Raptors, Night Arcanum to cast some spells, and reinforced Vanquishers, and then the Black Talons. I don't think I'm sold on the Black Talons.
I don't know if I am either.
I know they add a spellcaster to your list, and that's useful because pre-Battletome Stormcast lacks wizards. I mean, they're gaining one more, I think, in the book, but
yeah, in the warband. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
I just think this one it seems light. So they're going to need to get a lot out of Krondus and Morbid Conjuration. I think there's just only a few bodies, so they really got to control the board.
Yeah, Reclusians are slow. That's their big thing, right?
Yeah.
But I think if they get to something, they're going to do some damage. Brett says not anymore. What's not anymore, Brett?
Probably Ionis doing -1 attack.
Oh.
I think. Yeah. But we'll see. We'll see what Brett says.
All right.
Skaven one.
All right.
I could kind of take the lead on this one because I've been chatting with Dan a lot on it.
Krondus does not do -1 attack.
Oh, okay. Interesting. Yeah, Black Talons.
I agree
Nick.
Yeah, I agree with that. That Black Talons are handy to get to 3 units for an extra 3 units in Highlander.
But so is Saviors of Cinderfall.
That is true. They're only 2 units.
Oh, you're right.
Yep. Brett says Krondus shuts off commands for 3+.
Gotcha. Yeah, that changes a little bit of those metrics too. Then.
Yep. So this is John's Skaven list.
Yep. John Thomas. Flesh-Mellowed Menagerie. We got Vizic, Reinforced Rat Ogres, Master Molder, Brood Terror, Storm Fiends, Grey Seers, Clan Rats, Deathmaster, Storm Vermin. This is a Highlander list, right? Yes. I think it's all right. I'm not super sold on Vizic. I do think that when shooting is Vizic is slightly better. He just seems like he's a lot of points to possibly just get picked up and to kind of only do one thing. But
we'll see. I feel like Skaven is just maybe a little slightly too expensive right now.
Yeah.
Across the board. I don't know if you feel that.
And maybe it has to do with the fact that their recursion is really strong and they can put it anywhere and they can order it in a way that I think GW might be just struggling to figure out how to point that.
That's true, and they do have a lot of shooting in their army.
Yeah.
So that's another thing that's hard to balance, I think.
Yeah. Yeah. I think I would almost prefer somebody else in place of Vizic and then reinforce this unit of Storm Fiends.
Vizic is a cool model, though.
Especially in the flesh mount. Yeah, he is. Bo has enlisted me to paint his, so because I said I wanted to paint a Vermin Lord, and he's like, "Well, you're painting my Vizic now."
Oh, tagged in to paint Vizic.
Yeah. Um,
All right.
Another
So,
Seraphon list.
yep. I didn't catch the
This
name.
one's Jose's.
This is Jose. He was in the chat. He might still be in the chat. Jose, he won Bug Eater
Yeah, very good
this year.
player.
Yep. I don't know if he always plays Seraphon, but every time I've seen him, he's played Seraphon. Yeah, Slan, Croxagore reinforced, Croxagore Warp Spawn reinforced, Raptidon Chargers reinforced, Source Guard, and then Skink, Starseer, Hunters of Fuanchi with Dart Pipes, Hunters of Fuanchi with Starstone, Ebolas, and Ripper Dactyl Riders. Is this a
It is a Highlander.
okay, there we go.
I think
He was running, if I recall, I think Brett and Jose, I believe, played at Flying Monkey, and he was running a heavy cavalry list at Flying Monkey, if I recall correctly.
I think this is a good one because I think Croxagore they're really strong. They do a lot of damage. They didn't take any nerfs in the recent Battle Scroll update, and he's running 2 units of them somehow because they're
Two
two
different.
separate
It's
units.
just like the Hunters of Wanshi. Two different.
Yeah,
You're able to sneak in those two units. Sneaky Seraphon.
kind of what I was saying with that with Corey's list. You know, he's reinforcing both of them, so the Slot Star Master is really getting a lot out of that.
Yeah, the bringing the dudes back. And I presume they both bonk fairly well. I think Shawn's internet might have gone on the fritz again. He's a mean person. It is mean to bring back all those Croxagore, but I doubt that means he's a mean person. How could you be mean with all that free queso in Oklahoma City?
Oh, hey, I survived.
All right.
There we go. We got
So,
fly through these.
Yep. I mean, I can go a little longer. I caught a second wind here, I guess. But yeah, need to go on your schedule too. So, Joseph, Cruel Boys, Swamp Collar Shaman with Pot Grot, Reinforced Bolt Boys, Snatch a Boss on Sledge Raker Beast, Reinforced Gut Rippers, Hobgot Slittas, Monster Killers, Gnash Tooth, Beast Skewer Killer Bow, and Man Skewer Bolt Boys reinforced. I thought it was going to be a Highlander list until we got to that second unit of Man Skewer Bolt Boys reinforced. And then Marsh Crawler Slogoth. So I've been definitely looking at Cruel Boys recently. I think it's what I'm going to pivot to after this tournament. I guess I thought it was going to be a Highlander list. So that being said, I would have liked to see 2 units. If it's not a Highlander list, I would have preferred to see 2 units of reinforced gut rippers on the list. This is me not ever having played Cruel Boys, but just having been looking at the rules a lot.
Just doing recently. A lot of theory.
Especially in the bodyguard or whatever it's called meta that might exist, because reducing their attacks down by 1 or 2 is rough. But I think Cruel Boys are good. They're just reliant on a lot of rolls to go off. Keegan Graves, Skaven player.
He won Bug Eater 2 years ago.
So I'll let you talk about Skaven again, but I know Keegan plays Skaven and knows what to do with Skaven.
He's been nicknamed the Rat Emperor after he won Bug Eater locally.
That's what we locally have named him.
But yeah, this list is interesting. Thankful is another character that I'm not quite sold on. So we got Thankful, Clan Rats, Doom Flayers reinforced, Rattling Gun reinforced, Verminlord Deceiver, Clan Rats, Arch Warlock, Clan Rats. So Clan Rats, I'm super sold on. I think Clan Rats are super legit. Thankful, I'm not sold on. It's just points investment. Seems a little high for what you get out of them. I know locally our player Dan ran into some issues too, but admittedly didn't do too many reps. But you know, Vermin Lord Deceiver is really fun too, and that's just a surprise. Like, can probably wait.
I know. I know the internet is high on rattling guns as well, just from their volume of attacks.
Yeah, I think that's pretty good for Warp Cog as well.
Yep. You're cutting in and out a little bit, Shawn. I do like your comment there. Rat Emperor's New Groove. That's a good pun there. Good joke. Well, we lost Shawn again. His internet is not doing us any favors tonight. Really wanted to get through all these lists, so if he comes back one more time, we'll give it a try. If not, we might not make it through every list. No problem, Nicholas. We enjoy having these conversations, you know, off on the side anyway. So figured we'd give this a shot and see if we can engage, the regional scene here. I'm gonna message Shawn real quick and see if he's gonna be able to make it back. All right, Shawn's internet has gone out. Let me pull up the lists, and I'm not nearly as smart as he is, but I can at least scroll through some lists and give some bad takes. Just give me a second, I'll get them pulled up. Let me know if you all can see my screen right now. I'll get back to where we were. Thanks for joining. Well, it appears that I'm sharing my screen, but you guys can't see it, so I'm not sure what's going on. Might have to do with the fact that Shawn was leading the stream, or it could just be the fact that I'm a dummy. Hey, Shawn's back. I was trying to share my screen, Shawn, and it says I am sharing it, but it's not actually showing up, so I'm not sure what's going on.
Do you have the layout selected?
I don't know how to do that.
It says you are sharing it? Because, yeah, I think I gave you permission.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you just want to share again?
Well, I'm on my phone right now.
Oh. All right.
Just to make sure that it didn't stay like locked or anything like that.
All right. Well, I am
You could
sharing my
describe
screen
the
now, and it says I'm sharing it, and this is great TV.
Yeah.
It says I'm presenting, but I do not see it.
Oh, okay. It's because it wasn't added to the stage.
Hey, could I have done that?
I don't know. If you have access to it, it'd be in the guests participants area.
I don't know where that's at. All right. You won't be able to see the shoot. You won't be able to see your notes. Oh well.
Yeah, well, that's fine.
So we talked about Keegan's list. We'll try to get through the rest of these pretty quick. Ken, Stormcast Eternals. He is got Bastion, reinforced Prosecutors, reinforced Reclusians, Knight Relictor, Knight Zephyros, Paladors with shock hand axes, and Raptors with long strike crossbows, and a Knight Arcanum. So just a variety of Stormcast units. No real like centerpiece tank type unit, but a lot of threats. You know, this is the kind of similar to this is the kind of Stormcast list I was running towards the end of last edition, with just a lot of bodies on the board. A lot of them could work pretty fairly threatening, spread armies out, that sort of thing. Yeah, this once again has the reinforced Reclusians, so I think those can do work if you can actually get them into combat. Any thoughts on that, Shawn? Oh, I think we lost him again. All right. Nope. Are you back, Shawn?
Yeah, just for a bit. I get the actual internet is completely down here, so I'm on data.
Okay. Kevin's Oops All Dragons Stormcast list. Knight Draconis, Stormdrake Guard reinforced. Stormdrake Guard, non-reinforced. Knight Draconis, Stormdrake Guard, Stormdrake Guard. Lots of dragons. I think this is actually pretty decent. Just many hard to kill units that do fairly good damage. You're gonna have to pick your battles with this. It's kind of like playing against Gargants. You got to kill those units, right? Don't at least kill a model, because if you let them rally, then that's a problem. So focus on models. I haven't seen a list. I haven't played against a list like this edition, but I mean, it was good last edition, especially early. I suspect it will take, it will be able to bully some people around, right? Laron, Stormcast Eternals as well. So we're hitting the Stormcast Eternals portion of the evening. Karzai, Praetors. There's your bodyguard right there, Shawn. Reducing attacks by 2.
Yes.
That's a problem. Don't be a cruel boy in that position with 1 attack in your unit.
Right, absolutely not. Or a Trog.
Yep. Paladors. Paladors are good. I like Paladors.
Call that It's maneuver.
Yep. Krondus as well. So double dragon, basically. Um, Vexilor, Prosecutors, and the Black Talons. There's no way this is a. Is there any way this is a? Is this a Highlander list? It is. With 2 big dragons in it. Yeah, that's cool.
That's wild.
Yeah, scary list and Highlander. Top pick for Highlander winner right here.
I mean, it seems solid.
Yeah, I mean it. You could probably pick it off. Pick pieces off here and there. Try to avoid Karzai the Scarred if you can. He's good. Madigan, another Bone Reapers list. Catacross again. Death Riders, Reinforced Morghast, One Crawler, and Soul Mason. We've talked ad nauseum about Bone Reapers. This is all good stuff. Going for the save stacking on the Morghast. I think we talked about it before, but I really like to see the Tyrannic cohort in OBR lists. Yeah, Brett, Highlander. That's an interesting, good Highlander Stormcast list. Would you agree? Brett in the chat, he's a Stormcast player. He finished in 9th place at Flying Monkey. 4-1. We're to me. My more Ghasts list. That's the joke because I have lots of more gas in it. And coincidentally, I think it is a tough matchup against OBR with catapults because it's the good things are infantry in this list, so catapults do work against it. So I've covered this list in other videos. I won't talk about it too much, but Xantos, 2 units of Death Riders, Reinforced Archive, Reinforced Harbingers, Soul Mason, and Tyrannic cohort. I did make some changes to my list. I moved a bunch of stuff to my General's Regiment, so I have options because I think if I want to do bodyguard, Archcavalos Xantos is a better bodyguard than the Soul Mason, so this just gives me the options to do that. That was my only change from Flying Monkey. Hoping to improve upon my Flying Monkey finish. I finished in 10th at 3-1-1. One of these days, I'd like to go 4-1. So I'm going to try. Michael, he is playing Disciples of Zinch. Kairos, Blue and Brim, a Spawn, Reinforced Flamers, Screamers, Lord of Change, Changecaster, Pink Horrors, and another unit of Screamers. Screamers are good objective grabbers. I think Kairos and Lord of Change, the Bash brothers, are I guess they don't bash that much. They can bash, but they're more like the cast brothers. Good base of any Zinch list. And decent shooting, good objective grabbing. They're going to trick you with their fate dice. So good, and Lord Change is bringing back demon units, and there's plenty of demon units in here to be brought back. All right, we've got another Stormcast list. Krondus, Paladors with hand axes, reinforced long strikes, Vigilors, Lord Relictor, Knight Vexilor, Prosecutors, and another unit of Vigilors. We've talked about Stormcast a lot already. I think Krondus and Karzai are both good. I'm probably in camp Karzai at this point, but Krondus is a multicast wizard with bonuses to cast, so that's good. Long strikes doing work from range, and I guess I'm surprised to not see any Praetors in this list protecting Krondus, but then again, because I think he is going to have to, in a list like this, he is going to have to get into combat and do some work. You can't rely purely on the Paladors to do the heavy lifting in melee. Let me know if you Stormcast players in the chat agree with that. All right, Nicholas Wilson, who was in the chat, he had to go to bed, and due to our technical difficulties, didn't quite make it to us talking about his list. But hopefully, he watches this after the fact. So we are talking Cities of Sigmar. This is a faction I looked at closely with the at the start of the edition. The only thing that makes me nervous about them, and this is not list centric, is that units are going to go away when the book comes out. So that's what's kind of keeping me away at this point. So Three Guild Marshal on Griffin, Rune Lord, reinforced hammers, reinforced iron breakers. That's a good package of dwarves right there. Hammers and Rune Lord, very synergistic, buffing one another with wards and additional Ren. So that's good. I think the Free Guild Marshal on Griffin is a decent independent operator. I see this is another situation where we are only have one unit in the General's Regiment. I, we've speculated, and Nicholas isn't in the chat anymore, but we've speculated that is potentially a defense against the battle tactic and priority target. And then we have a sorceress, Drakespawn Knights, Executioners doing their mortal wound thing, sorceress getting bonuses to cast, and then Callus and Toll's companions, who are very good. Not quite as good in Cities of Sigmar as they are in every other Order army, but still good. As I say, is this also a Highlander list? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yep, Highlander list. It's got what you need though out of a city's in a city's list. Maybe lacking one. Maybe lacking one hero. Not sure how reliant he's going to be on orders. But we'll see. I think cities is good, and I think they're like corn, a bit slept on right now. All right, Pat. Another Stormcast Eternals list. Lord Veritant, Annihilators with Meteoric Grand Hammers reinforced. Those guys do melee work when you get them into combat, so beware. Prosecutors reinforced. Gardas Steel Soul. Liberators, Reinforced Vanquishers, Lord Imperatant, Knight Vexilor, Knight Incantor, and Gryph-hounds. This looks like a Highlander list as well. So, kind of another grab bag Stormcast list. I think Stormcast, once again, we've already talked about it a bunch, but I think they are a book full of units that are just decent on their own, and you have to actually commit something to kill them. So this army, it's got the Grand Hammers to do the melee damage, but and everything else is going to spread you out and try to get you on objectives and kind of just harass your units where they can. Would be my expectation. Paul, Highlander, Sylvaneth list here. Treelor Ancient, Kurnoth Hunters reinforced with great swords, Kurnoth Hunters reinforced with scythes, Warsong Revenant, Gossamet Archers, Kurnoth Hunters with great bows, Branch Witch, and the Callus and their companions. Similar to we talked about earlier, similar to the Black Talons. This is just a good way to get a couple of units into your Highlander list, and this has literally all of the Brett says +4 to charge from the Imperator and Gardas at a deep strike. So make sure you screen those Grand Hammers out, right, Brett? This has all the units you would want in a or most of the units you'd want in the Sylvaneth army while still being Highlander. So like this is a list you could put on the table, I think, outside of the Highlander format and still perform fairly well, especially with the changes to in the battle scroll to Sylvaneth. All right, Rhett, snakes, Daughters of Cain. I wish Shawn was here because I don't know nearly as much about Daughters of Cain as he does. So we got Marathi, Heartrenders, the Shadow Queen, Iron Scale, Blood Sisters reinforced, Blood Sisters reinforced, Blood Stalkers reinforced. So we got the snakes. They were good last edition. I think they're still pretty good this edition. I think Marathi is still good. There are, and kind of the shooting meta that's out there, as we've seen in this read through of lists. I think she's not as tanky as she would be in a pure melee meta, and I don't think we talked about it earlier. Is Shawn back? If he's back, it's perfect timing. We're talking about snakes.
Yeah, give me just one.
Yep.
You covered a lot of it pretty well. I think that the big thing is Marathi synergizes really well with the snakes, and the Iron Scale chain fights pretty well. I'm not entirely sold on Skate Coven. I think it's a bit of a non-vote at times, but because it's if you roll an 8 to charge, you get strikes first, and that just auto applies. So you could get it with a unit of Blood Sisters, and then they would strike before the Iron Scale. When the Iron Scale chain fights, then the Iron Scale adds an extra attack. But if the Blood Sisters are striking first, then you don't get that.
Okay.
But
But you can still make those Blood Sisters fight first or fight twice, once per game too, right? Does that
yeah, yep.
work?
Anything that's infantry, which technically all these snakes are infantry.
Okay, cool. How do you think this list will perform in a GT setting based on the other lists we've read? If you're talking, we can't hear you. I have played against. Oh, go ahead, Shawn, if you're still there. I have played against Daughters of Cain once this edition. This was prior to my swap away from Nagash. And if you cannot dictate, they still can slice and dice you. So you need to try to pick and choose your battles with them. If you can fight first before them, great. But they still maintain the glass cannon. But if you're not careful, they will pick you apart. All right, Shawn Sayer. He was in the chat earlier. He is playing Slaves to Darkness. He was at Flying Monkey. I believe he finished 3-2. Not sure where he finished placing wise, but he's got the Gaunt Summoner. Shawn says he thinks like many things, the Daughters of Cain list will have problems into any double crawler list. Let's see. So Shawn Sayer is playing Highlander, so he's got the Gaunt Summoner, unit of Furies, and Mindstiller Sphinx, reinforced Therodons, which I think are very good, and people are not running. They are not nearly as tanky as their buddies, the Vanguard or the Chosen, but they can do work, especially with that Corn +1 attack on the charge. Unit of Raptorix, Chaos Sorcerer Lord, Chaos Knights, Chaos Warriors, reinforced with Nurgle, so a unit that is going to be tough to move. Yeah, since the whole army is infantry, Shawn says, going back to the Daughters of Cain, since the whole army is infantry, yeah, the Mortek crawlers will be -2 rend against that Daughters of Cain list. But continuing on with Shawn Sayer's Slaves to Darkness list, he still has the Vanguard, not reinforced, but with Corn, they still have a fairly high volume of attacks when you consider they're going to be fighting twice. So I think, as with a lot of the Highlander lists we've seen, They're not as tuned as they could be outside of the Highlander format, but Slaves to Darkness are still good. And I suspect someone who plays Slaves to Darkness like Shawn Sayer does, that he will do just fine, even into lists that are not following the same Highlander restrictions. All right, Stu, Lumineth Realm Lords, once again, first time we're seeing tech lists here. Reinforced Sentinels, Reinforced Dawn Riders, Wind Mage, and 2 Spirits of the Wind. There it is. I was wondering if we were going to get to that point. So no Severeth, but adding tech list for the magic dominance is, I think that's just fine. I suspect this list, it still has the pieces. It doesn't have quite as many bodies because tech list is expensive. But I would suspect that this list will still perform well, like Lumineth has been. Tristan, another Stormcast list. I think there's 9 Stormcast players signed up currently. 7 OBR, and then fewer other armies beyond that. So that's why we've been reading so many Stormcast lists. So we've got Krondus, we've got Knight Vexilor, Praetors to protect Krondus, reinforced Paladors, reinforced Long Strikes, Relictor, 2 units of Vanquishers. So yeah, Krondus providing the magic and some good melee as well, with the Praetors protecting him. And then Paladors also doing some good melee output. Raptors fighting from range, doing their thing. And I also like Vanquishers. I think they're my favorite of the kind of the 3 baseline Stormcast infantry: the Liberators, the Vindictors, and the Vanquishers. I think I like Vanquishers the best, actually. Tyler Emerson of Warhammer Weekly fame. He is playing Stormcast Eternals as well. Yes, there's Karzai. Love to see it. Good melee man there. Karzai. Knight Vexilor. 10 Vanquishers. The Soulsworn. I actually like the Questor Soulsworn as well. I think their ability to bounce around is very good, and they're tanky, and their melee output is pretty good. I think they're just a good all around unit, especially when you throw in the fact that they can move or teleport once per game. And then the Praetors to buddy up with Karzai, so good luck killing him. And then you got the Prime. You don't see that in a ton of lists, but he doesn't do everything that he did before, but he does do mortals on crits now. Maybe he's not the trendiest pick, but I still think the Prime is cool, and the Prime can do work. And then you got 5 Vigilers, 3 Long Strikes, 3 Prosecutors. This appears to be a Highlander list as well. So good on you for getting Karzai in there in a Highlander list with some other units that can still do work. I'm kind of regretting not doing Highlander myself, but I think it is tough with Bone Reapers. Tyler finished well at Flying Monkey. I believe he went 3-2 with his Stormcast. So he's just like a lot of people we've talked about so far. He knows what he's doing with the army that he's playing. So even though this is a Highlander list, don't sleep on it. Like some player skill can make up for kind of lack of meta defining picks. All right, Walker, Sons of Bahamut, second Sons of Bahamut list. We've got King Broad, Gatebreaker, Man Crusher, and then we got a War Stomper, 2 more Man Crushers. So, kind of the template, three bigs, one of which being King Broad. I think he's where you start with any Gargant list at this point, and then kind of take your pick of other bigs, and then yeah, like we talked about earlier, you have to you kind of have to take the three littles just to be able to compete on objectives and battle tactics. So you know, if you have enough practice with Sons of Bahamut, you can you know you can definitely win games. You will win games with Sons of Bahamut because not every army can, either they cannot um, take them down quickly enough, pass the DPS check or whatever you want to say, or they just don't prioritize. Opponents just don't prioritize very well when it comes to taking down the Gargants. You really got to focus them down. All right, and Zachary, which means we got to be getting pretty close to the end here. Skaven, which this was one of the armies that I would defer to Shawn over, but we got Thankful, Rattling Gun, Reinforced Rattling Gun, Deceiver, Clan Rats, Night Runners, Arch Warlock, another unit of Clan Rats, and another Reinforced Rattling Gun unit. So Clan Rats, good. Deceiver, good. Rattling Guns, 2 units of Reinforced Rattling Guns. That is a lot of shots, and I think that's I think early in an edition, early in a battle tome, like that's an obvious thing that people are going to gravitate to because shooting is good. You can kill opponents' units without interacting with it, especially when covering fire is a thing. So rattling guns, 600 points for that many shots is good. Even if maybe the book is slightly overcosted as a whole. And that is the end of the list. We made it through. We were supposed to do it in an hour. I would say, considering the technical difficulties we had, the fact that we only went an hour and 39 minutes is okay. We're getting a little better at this. I didn't go on quite as many tangents and rambles as maybe I have on previous streams. So, yeah, let us know what you think. Let us know in the comments what lists you think will perform well. And the plan will be to do a follow up to Vault Wars. Hopefully, I can get Shawn to join me. Otherwise, I can, kind of do my own personal follow up like I did with Flying Monkey as well. Yeah, post any questions or feedback you have for us. Apologies for the internet difficulties, but that's something we'll continue to try to work through. And looks like Shawn might be popping back on for a second. I'll give it a second before signing off. Shawn, are you there? Well, I'm not sure if Shawn's able to hear us, but I'm going to go ahead and call an end to it here, and we'll see you all next time.